Hello Rebel and welcome back to my life. Okay, first things first, I want to tell you that at the time of publication of this video, I'm going to be live streaming over on Facebook in 15 minutes, 12:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So as soon as you're done watching this video, click on the Facebook link in the description to go watch the live stream, in which I am doing the biggest announcement ever. But I am going to give you a little more detail about the announcement and the live stream in this video, so stick around till the end. And this all ties in very well to today's topic, which is a recap of 2019. So like I said in last week's video, 2019 was a year. It was a weird year. Some things were good, some things were bad. A lot of things were just weird. Let's start with the bad stuff. The first bad thing about 2019 was that I did not publish a single book. Not only did I not release any books in 2019, I didn't even finish writing a book in 2019. I worked on my next book a little bit, but I do mean a little bit. I put in 22 hours of work on the next book over the entire course of the year. That's less than 2 hours a month. That just sucks. That's not good. Like, just as a frame of reference, I've already put in half as much time on the next book in the first 2 weeks of 2020 as I did in the entirety of 2019. This felt even worse because I published my first book in 2012, and since then, 2019 is literally the first year that I have not published a new book. Now, for the next entry on the bad list, and to the surprise of no one, 2019 was a pretty crappy year for me personally, financially. Hey, what do you know? Publish no books, get less income. Everyone is shocked. That made the back half of 2019 a lot more stressful than I wish it had been. The holidays in particular were a bit of a stressful time for me and my family. However, probably because of that, I actually do feel like we put a lot more effort into enjoying the holidays of 2019 and being thankful for what we did have. Christmas 2019 was probably my favorite Christmas of the last 5 years. However, I would still like to avoid the stressful side of things if I can. If you want to help out with that, it would be really cool if you would go become my supporter on Patreon, link in the doobly-doo. So let's talk about the weird stuff in 2019, like the stuff that was neither good nor bad, or maybe both good and bad, so it was just kind of there. The first thing that came to my mind when I sat down to think about this was the video Daniel Green made about my article on Medium about the Wheel of Time. In case you missed this whole thing, Daniel Green, a really good and smart YouTuber who is a huge fan of the Wheel of Time series, read my Medium article about why I hate those books. And he made a YouTube video about it. And it's a really good video. I made a response to Daniel's video, which I will try to remember to stick up here if you want to go watch that and see what it's all about. So 2 things came out of this. 1, I have had a lot of angry people in my YouTube comments over the last few weeks, so that's always great. But I also feel like the whole thing was a pretty good conversation between Daniel and me. Not that we ever talked like directly in person, but between my article, his video, and my 2 videos I made in response, I really like how everything turned out. I feel like through the whole process, I learned a lot and got a much different perspective on things than I had previously. So that's what I mean by kind of a weird thing. Some good, some bad. Another weird thing in 2019 was VidCon. I went to VidCon, and it was weird. I made a vlog about it called VidCon Has Changed, because it had. I had some really good times at VidCon. I got to be in a Vlogbrothers video, which was amazing. But the rest of the convention was just kind of I didn't leave with the same level of excitement and enthusiasm that I've always left VidCon with in the past. Like, just as one indicator of this, I made 4 collab videos with 2 of my favorite people in the entirety of YouTube, and I have not touched them since. They are still on my hard drive. I mean to get to them, and I will, and I apologize to the people that I worked with that I haven't edited or published them yet, but I just haven't, because VidCon, as fun as it was, kind of left a weird taste in my mouth. And yet at the same time, some really great experiences. So it's just weird. It was a weird thing, and I don't know what it means for me in VidCon in 2020. Still trying to figure that out. Last weird thing in 2019 is also a very good one, and so it provides a great last entry on this list before we move on to the good stuff. The audiobook project has been weird. It's been good, it's been fun, it's been productive, but it's been weird. I started working on the audiobooks in late 2018, and I thought that I would have them completely wrapped up in the first few months of 2019. It is 2020, and they are still not done. I've got 2 books left to record from the backlist, plus the addenda for 2 Underrealm volumes left to record, not even counting editing. And it's hard not to look back at 2019 and look at the fact that the audiobooks are still not done and just feel weird about it. But okay, I think that's the end of the weird list. Let's talk about some awesome stuff that happened in 2019. 2019. The first is that, despite the previous entry, we did release 7 audiobooks last year. That's freaking amazing. I mean, I look at that and I'm honestly just very proud and pleased. Of those 7 audiobooks, 6 are individual Underrealm novels and 1 is a volume of Underrealm, so that is 90 hours of audiobook recorded, edited, and published. And it took a lot of work to produce that. Like, it shouldn't have taken as long as it did, and it won't take that long in the future, but yeah, I put a lot of work into that, and I am proud of that work. Plus, through all the time that we put in on the audiobooks, I think I really figured out my production line that is going to make all the future work that we do in audio much faster. I'm working with a fantastic editor now named Jim Wilburn, and just working with him is a dream. I really think you're gonna like what's rolling out in the next couple of months of Underrealm. The next awesome thing we did in 2019 was launch the Nightblade Epic Podcast. As I said when I started that show, I really missed podcasting. I liked the podcast talk shows that I've done in the past, but it was a bit of a time sink, and I had trouble finding partners and co-hosts who could do it for a long, extended period of time with me. And especially with the audiobooks happening, the Nightblade Epic Podcast was a great solution to all of that, as well as opening up the world for a lot of people who listen to podcasts and people who weren't able to experience the stories before for a variety of reasons. And it didn't turn into some grand overnight success and change my life, but over the course of the year, 25,000 people listened to the podcast, and I think that's pretty frickin' awesome. It's gonna keep going through 2020, of course, and there should be some exciting developments about the podcast in the not too distant future, so stay tuned for that. But now let's talk about the last entry on the list of great stuff that happened in 2019, and it is truly great. In 2019, I did complete a new Underrealm book. Just not one of mine. You already know this if you've been around for a while, but if you're new, I don't just want to be an author. I want to run a publishing company that publishes a number of authors in a shared fantasy universe called Underrealm. We got a little taste of that in 2018 with the Chronicles of Underrealm. Most of those short stories were the first taste of Tales of Underrealm written by somebody other than me. But in 2019, we stepped up our game, and now we are releasing the first full novel of Underrealm written by another author. That author is Brenna Gawain. She is an author of one of the Chronicles of Underrealm, and she is also just an absolute delight. So that is what she and I are streaming about live on Facebook in just a few minutes. The pre-order for her book is up right now, and on the live stream we're going to be revealing the cover, the title, and talking with her about the process of creating the book. So seriously, if you're excited to read the next book of Underrealm, click on the Facebook link in the description below. Come by the live stream, hang out, and chat with us. We cannot wait to tell you about this. And there you go. That's my 2019 recap. I hope you found it enjoyable. Come back next week when I talk about 2020, my goals for the year ahead, and what has already happened toward those goals. But that is all I've got for you today, Rebel. I want to give an extra special shout out to my supporters on Patreon who are scrolling down below my face right now. If you want to become one of those awesome and incredibly attractive individuals, click on the Patreon link on your screen or in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Friday. Bye!